Hey guys, welcome back to another video of AFK Arena. This video is the first video of a new series I'm planning to release every week. We will be covering the Curse Realm and the current meta formations for that round. This video is a bit long, so please do not hesitate to jump to the round that interests you the most, because we will be covering each one of them in this video. And of course, I mean, this is not meant to be a reference guide or whatever. It's something that I have been using and provided, of course, the information from other players, and I will get into that. So thank you again, guys, for your support. We are getting closer to the 5,000 subscribers. I cannot believe that. A month ago, I barely made it through the 1,000 subscribers. So this is all thanks to you. I really hope you're enjoying this. Let me know if you want to see some specific contents. Let's jump into this one. All right, let's start with the current edition of the Curse Realm, which is Shemira. It's the June 23rd edition of that, so I'll be hopefully able to update these for after every, Curse Realm that we will have in the future, and give you the latest update every single time. I need to thank Isoke for his greatest input and in building this content, and this would have been possible without his support. So thank you again, mate, for that. And let's start by looking into the debuff skills of this Curse Realm edition. So the name of the skill is Shadow Howl. I hope I pronounced it correctly, but it's a very unique and special skill that will increase the dodge attributes of the enemies significantly, making them very, very hard to hit with normal attacks. So that will limit the type of heroes that we can use in our team to casters, buffers or debuffers, healers, and crowd controllers, because anybody with melee attack will be almost useless. Okay, so now let's go into the round one. So first of all, I would like to explain how I'm going to structure every round. So first of all, I'm going to be talking about the strategy, the concept of the round. So what we are trying to achieve and what we should be doing on this round. Then I'll be talking about how to optimize each of the fights that you have, or make sure that you get the best result out of this fight. I'll list the bets that we should be using on this round, and give you the damage range that you should be aiming for, and finally some variation that we can have for heroes. So let's get into this and start with the first round, the strategy. So this is the main team of the first round, right? So let's go over each hero and understand what will be their purpose in this one. So the first one that is very important here is Brutus, because what we need from him here is this fourth, the skill that he has here, the Roar, which will increase the damage that the enemy receive by up to 50%. Right, so this is exactly what we need here to mitigate the dodge effect that that is coming by the Curse Realm, right? And then you have Awakened Baden, who will be our main damage dealer for this competition. So he needs support from the other heroes like Damon, who will be the main tank and take all the damage. So his goal is really to protect Awakened Baden and offset, of course, all the damage to him. But also we know that Damon is capable of dealing lots of damages here. And then Lorsan and Odin are supporting both the team, but also that Odin is capable of also delivering some damages here, so he will increase the damage on top of that. So that's how the team works. We'll look at the first round and see how much damage we can make, and look into the optimization for that round. So in terms of optimization for the first round, it's very simple. I mean, very simple in the concept, but you have to be very careful. So what you want is that Lorsan should be linking Rain to Istrilda and not Rain to Morrow. So that's the biggest challenge that you have to fix here. So let's get a look at this fight from when we started, and you will see what I'm talking about. So if I just go and launch this fight, on the first fight, you can see here that Rain and Istrilda are linked, right? How is that possible? It's because Lorsan was quicker than Odin. So I'll show you what happened if this is not the case. So if I go back here and I check the haste of Odin, so we have 23, and if I equip the gear for him, it's going to go to 43. And let's have a look at Lorsan's haste. It's 97. So this is more than double the ones from Odin. But if we go and launch the fight in these conditions where Odin is has a bit more haste, and pay attention, you will see that Lorsan will be linking Rain tomorrow. That's because Odin is so quick that he teleports Estrilda faster, so that Lawson put the links between the two. So that's what you don't want to do. So you have to pay attention to this. Make sure that you decrease Odin's haste and increase Lawson one. So to decrease Odin's race, what we usually do is that we remove his boots. If that's not enough, you can maybe find a way to remove other stuff. Or if you can increase Lawson haste or mercenary, asking through mercenary system, that will be better. In terms of pet, we do not have too much variation here. The prime pet, I would call it like that, is Soufflé. So she works very well with this round. You could use the deer or the rock lizard as an alternative. We found out as well that the deer works better with the Awakened Solis team, which is in round 4. But you can do your testers on that. But yeah, I think Soufflé is really solid. There's no really minimum requirement for her. I would assume level 12 is good enough. And then in terms of damages, I would probably say something between 6 billion and 7.98 billion, basically, if you really overperform. I have an example here that I have just played, which is around 6.7 billion, which is decent and very good, in my opinion, again. But yes, I'm sure you can do much better, or even if you do 5.5, it's still acceptable, depending obviously on the heroes that you have, right? And finally, for the variation, it's mainly around Lawson. So depending on whatever heroes you have that is better and it's not used in the other rounds, I would suggest replacing it with Silas, Viloris, Tamrus, Vetael, or Nevanti. So really depends on how you have built your other teams on the different rounds. So that's close it for round 1. We will be looking next into round 2. So for round 2, we're going to be using Awakened Belinda, Rosalind, and Palmer core team, which is known to be very, very efficient and very strong. And we will complement that with John or Jeanne, I prefer to say Jeanne, and Leonardo da Vinci, who will be supporting hero. The good thing is that Belinda is viable even at Legendary Plus tier. And this team is not, of course, meant to survive long, but the longer it can survive, the better and the best score you will do, right? So survivability is really, really key on this one. When it comes to the optimization of round 2, it's also very simple. Rosalind should be following Awakened Belinda, and I suggest that you change the position of your heroes, or even change the pets to increase your survivability, right? So the choices of pets will be extremely important. So the prime pets will be the Bloodreach or the Lion or the Owl, depending on which one you have built, of course, and which one you're using in a different other team. But if you are struggling with survivability, you have some good alternative with the Deer, the Rock Lizard, or Talisman. Talisman has been also very helpful for me when I was doing my testers. So it's definitely something you can look into. And in terms of damages, this is probably one of the strongest one you will be doing. It's around 10 to 12 billion, 12 being a very high range, but the 10, 9.5, 10 is still very good. I have an example here that I'm playing, where I'm doing more than 11 billion, which is very strong. And for variation, it's mainly supporting heroes for Jeanne. So Jeanne can be replaced by Merlin or Rowan. Same with Da Vinci. You can also add Silas if you haven't used them before. So that's all for round 2. It's very straightforward, and I hope you will make a good score with that. Let's move into round 3. Okay, so for round 3, the concept is simple. So you have one caster. Here in our example, it will be Maitreya. who will be supported by 4 heroes. The role of the 4 heroes is to really buff, protect, heal Matria as much as possible so that she can make as much damage as possible, right? So in our example here, the supporting hero are Betael, Helios, Mortas, and Silas. But the caster can be Safia, can be Asta or Ayn. This is what we had in the previous meta. So you should know also that Safia has probably a higher score. She performs much better than Maitreya, but the RNG for her is very, very bad. So I would still recommend going with Maitreya on this round here. So in terms of optimization, it's really being picky here, I would say, because it's all about Maitreya getting the support from, the cube from Yelus. So we can see that here, she has it on the video. And then she can get the first 2 or first 3, doesn't really matter, which one she would get, because eventually she would get them as well as everybody else. But if you want to force that a little bit, you should just give Maitreya the highest combat rating, and make sure that she has the highest combat rating, sorry. So maybe hire one through the mercenary if yours is not strong enough. In terms of pet, so the prime pet is the winged lion, but you could use the rock lizard or the owl or the blade reach as alternative, depending on how, again, you are using them in the other fights. So the damage range varies between 6 to 8 billion. Again, 8 billion being also very good for endgame players, but that's pretty much where you stand. And for the variation, like I said at the beginning, Safia used to do, is coming from the previous meta and do a very good score, but the RNG is very bad. And then you can use Awakened Brutus, Rowan, or Saurus if you haven't used them on the other rounds, if you're not using them in the other round later. So that's it for round 3. Now let's have a look at round 4. Round 4 strategy is all around the wilder heroes, right? Because we are opposing a Graveborn team, so you want to take the benefit of the faction advantage, basically. So here we want to have a wilder team, maintaining maintaining AoE cycles. Aesolis and Asta are really the best combo here because they do deal damage, if you can see here, and then they also can shield and protect their team, right? Saurus will be a healer. And then in terms of additional heroes, so we have seen 2 different teams. So you have one with Mishka and one with Gineas, finally making himself through the Curse Realm, and Tamrus as well, to keep the enemy, distracted, grouped, and so the damage that Asta will be doing and Saurus will be doing will be increased, right? So good team here, and let's see how we can optimize the damage that they do. Regarding the optimization, it may sound a bit obvious, but for this one, it's really around having the best teams and the best heroes possible, right? So if you go with the wilder team, then yeah, I recommend having these heroes at least, with the highest stats as possible. So signature 30 is very important. Furniture 3 is also, and engraving 30 would be the least that you could go with. In terms of pets, definitely Talisman bring his value here, because he can shield and as well deal some damage. But it will also depend on how you play it, because we discussed it in the previous round. So Talisman can also be used in round 2 to protect, the team and helping it to survive. So you have to, think about it when you do that. So there might be some swap between round 2 and round 4. That would be the trick about this Curse Room edition. And in alternative, you have the Fire Breather and the Polar Bear as well that you could use for this. When it comes to damages, you can see in the video, on this fight I'm showing here, I've dealt approximately 7.5 billion on this one, but we would say a good average would be 6.5 or 6 as well to 8 billion. You can have a peak above 8, but that would be for high level accounts, and the variation are very, very much open, right? So you can move away from that, wilder team by having other heroes, replacing Saurus with Awakened Brutus if you're not using him in round 5, Silas, Queen, or Anasta. Tamrus can also be replaced by Queen. They have the same, grouping effect that they have. Da Vinci, Skyrat also as well has that grouping effect. So this is something that you could use to keep them, all together. Now, if you start removing Asta, you have to put a strong mage here to cover for the damage that Asta is doing. So Emilia and Yennefer will be good, and Mishka, as we saw, can be used, can be replaced by Gineas. So in my example here, I've been using Gineas for the fight. So that's it for round 4. Let's have a look now at round 5. Round 5 is, in my opinion, the most interesting fight. This is the big boys slumber seal fight, right? So this is where you see how powerful this beast is. So obviously we want the battle to last forever. Survivability will be key here, because the more it lasts, the best. The more damage Slumber will be able to make. So the rest of the team should, of course, be able to deal as much damage as possible to increase the overall damage here. But again, Slumber is going to be the big boss here, and that you want him to shine, right? Emilia and Yennefer will keep the enemy, contained and restricted in the area of the battlefield. I mean, in their side of the battlefield, so that Slumber can do as much, again, do his magic. And in terms of tank, we've seen, many different variations. So I've looked into the current leaderboard. At the moment I'm recording this, in the top 3 or top 5, there are 3 different teams and composition for that fight. So again, it's all about keeping the fight making the fight last as long as possible, so that you can have Slumber deal as much damage as we can. So if we look into the optimization for that fight, like I said, Slumber, it's a Slumber fight. So you want to test as much as possible, make sure that you have the right teams, the right supporting heroes for him, and then you have Albedo. Sometimes seems to be doing a bit better than Orthos, so it depends. But I've seen some, again, like I said, teams in the top 5 that have Orthos in there. And in terms of pets, it's obvious. It's Slumber. You have to have him at level 15. If you don't have him at level 15, then you can use the previous meta, which is around the Taunt Feline, team, using as well Maitreya. You can use that. So it depends really of what you have. But again, this round is Slumbers. The previous meta works again. In terms of damage, I would say probably between 7 and 10 billion. I mean, you can do a bit more in the fight I'm showing right now here. I've done a bit more than 10 billion, but 7 is a very good start here. And the variation are almost endless. You have so many teams that you can put as long as you can, keep the fight to last as long as possible. That will work, right? Sorry about this. So Yennefer and Emilia can be replaced by Merlin, Flora, Aziz, or Maitreya. Orthos and Albedo you can play as well if you want Anasta, Ochking, or Saurus, and then Brutus can be Awakened Brutus can be replaced by Saurus as well. But these are just examples. You can really have many different teams. So let's have a look at the final one, which is the boss fight, and how we can perform there. So Shemira's fight is all about weather control, right? So here we have 2 big, strategy, either going with Skryat or going with Khazar to help, removing the debuff that Shemira has. And Grezul will still stats, of course, and ramp up, and Scarlet will be cycling burst damages and benefit from the link that the twins will give them. And then, like I said, you have the 2 teams. Skyrat will work very much and very well with Demia. This is the one I have used here. Or you have Khazar that will work better with Estrilda. So depending on how you have used also the heroes in the round 5. If Demia is used there, then you have to use here Khazar and Estrilda. But if you haven't used her, I have tried some tests where I put Khazar in round 5 and I use Demia and Estrilda. Demia and Skryat. I cannot pronounce this one in this last fight. So that's how it is for the approach. Let's see how we can optimize that. Optimizing will be really finding the best positions and playing with the heroes. So the 2 tests as well, the two teams, like I said, to make the fight last as much as possible, right? So I found that I have done better result with the team that I'm showing right now, which has Skryat and Demia. But I see also in the top 5, like I said, the different one with Khazar and Estrilda, depending on how you have built them up. There is a lot of RNGs as well here. In terms of pets, we have the Owl as the prime one, or you can use Bloodreach or the Lion if you haven't used them before. So damage-wise, The fight I'm showing right now has done around 9.6 billion, but I've seen some fights going way above the 11 billion. So it depends as well on how you have built your heroes and the variation. We already spoke about it. We have seen sometimes where Solis or Awakened Solis can also do some damage here, but Awakened Solis is better used in the round 4, in my opinion. So that's it for the five fights. I mean, sorry, the 6 fights for the fight. So I'm going to just cover some additional inputs for this overall, the Curse Realm. So in terms of overall note here, what we have is that the Awakened heroes, Brutus, Belinda, and Solis will work very well in Legendary Plus. So that's a very good thing for free-to-play players or low spenders. Khazar will require Mythic to perform, and the previous meta will still work, especially for the round 5 if you don't have Seal, and you can swap round 1 and 4 for this depending on the damage that you make with the heroes. Regarding Durer's tree, as we said at the beginning of this video, that because of the debuff that Shemira has, melee heroes will not be very efficient here. So we will, of course, prioritizing mage and support branches. So they should be maxed. And then on the 3 that are left, this is how you're going to proceed. You're going to take all of them to 25, and then you will focus on the ranger one from 25 to max if you can. The tank one will be from 25 to 77 plus, and then the warrior will be 25 to whatever you can add. So if you can take the tank a bit higher, then do it. And then on the last one, just focus on the warrior and give the rest to that. So finally, we have the priorities in terms of mercenary heroes. I'm not going to read that. I'll leave it here. I want to once again thank you guys for watching this. I know it's a bit long, but I hope it is useful. Please, please, please share your feedback and let me know how I should make this in the future if you want to do some change or focus on other stuff. Or if the format is good for you like that, this would help me a lot. Thank you again, guys, for watching. Please do not hesitate to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.